Good morning, first grade. Today we're going to begin with the group champions. Champions, can you turn to the page 327? Now, in today's math lesson, you're going to be able to identify one dozen, you're going to be able to demonstrate the value of money, and you also be able to identify whether an item is greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, let's move on to number one on page 327. It says, write the missing numbers. Notice I put two examples here on the board. So, let's begin with the first one. 5 plus what number equals 12? Fix my plus sign. There we go. Much better. 5 plus what number will give you 12? What do you think? 5 plus what will give us 12? Would it be 6? No, not 6. That's too low. Let's try again. A little bit higher. 7. Then again, is it 7? That is correct. Make sure you're aware. That is correct. 5 plus 7, that will give you 12. Let's move on to the next one. 3 plus what number will give you 9? 3 plus what number will give you 9? 3 plus 6? Sure, 6? What about 4? 3 plus 4 is 7. So yes, 3 plus 6, that is correct. That will give you 9. So that's how you solve number 1. Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 wants you to give the place value answer. So you're trying to decide whether the item they asked for is in the ones, tens, or hundreds place. Let's work on a few examples for those. Okay, so let's work on the first example here. We have 345. Now, it's asking how many hundreds are in 345. So that means we had to go to the hundreds place. So this ones, tens, hundreds. The 3 is in the hundreds place. So what number will we write? Good job. We'll write the number 3. Let's go on to the next one. Here we have 197. And we're dealing with 1. So we have to focus on the digit in the ones place. And this is a ones place, so that is 7. Now, let's look at this number. It says 87. 87. But it asks the hundreds. Notice, we only have ones and tens, but there's no hundred. There's nothing for 100. So what will we write? Since there's no number in there, that's correct. You said we just write 0. Since there's no number in the hundreds place here, it's missing numbers, no number there. All you have to do is write 0. Then we move on to number 3. It says circle 1 dozen flowers. So you have to know, like we worked on this time before, what number is 1 dozen equal to. Now I'll tell you how many flowers you're circling. That's correct. 1 dozen equals 12. So you should be circling 12 flowers. Let's move on to number 4 and ask us to draw the tally marks for these numbers. Alright, so here we have the number 15. We simply have to write the tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 15. That's the correct amount of tally marks you should be drawing. Let's move on to number 5. Okay, here for the next one, it asks us how many cents. Here we have 2 quarters. You know a quarter is 25 cents. We have a nickel to nickel. That's worth 5 cents. We have 2 pennies. As we know, a penny is worth 1 cent. Then we have another nickel, which is worth 5 cents. So, like I said before, let's start off with the bigger coins. It makes it a little bit easier when we add enough coins together. So let's add our 2 quarters together. 2 quarters is what? 25. Cross this off. 50. Okay, that's 50. What's 50 plus 5? What is 50 plus 5? What do you think? 55. Good job. The next nickel. 55 plus 5 is 60. Good job. Now, what is 60 plus 5? We're going to move over to this nickel. What is 60 plus 5? 65. Then we add our 2 pennies. 66. 67. So, we have 67 cents. Now let's flip a page over to the next page, 328. Now if you look at number 1, number 1 wants you to add. Okay? Let's move over to number 2. Number 2 wants us to write the twin. So here we have 6 plus 8 equals 14. So what is the twin? You think the 6 plus 8 equals 14? Let's begin. So first number we write is 8. Plus down, plus 6 equals 14. There we go. That simple. That's our twin. We just basically we switched it. So 6 plus 8 equals 14. 8 plus 6. That will equal to 14 as well. So that's how you write your twin. Let's move on to number 3, where it's asking us whether the question is it greater than, less than, or equal to. Okay, so here we have 2 quarts and a half gallon. Notice, this is not a whole gallon, it's half a gallon. And it's 2 quarts. So is 2 quarts, is it greater than, less than, or equal to half a gallon? What do you think? It's equal to 2 quarts and half a gallon. Half a gallon are the same thing, so we write equal. Let's focus on here. We have 22 hours in one day. First, you have to figure out how many hours are in one day. There are 24 hours in one day. Now it's easier to decide, is 22 hours, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 24 hours? And it's less than. So you write the less than sign. Let's work on another example. Okay, here we have 4 quarts and 1 gallon. Remember, the previous problem we worked on, there were 2 quarts and half a gallon. Here we have 4 quarts and 1 gallon. So it's 4 quarts, is that greater than, less than, or equal to 1 gallon? What do you think? That is correct. 4 quarts is the same as 1 gallon. So 4 quarts is equal to, just like 2 quarts was equal to half a gallon, 4 quarts is equal to 1 gallon. Now let's focus our attention on number 4. It says mark the circle under what happened last. So here you have 4 pictures of an ice cube. Okay. Now let's imagine, say for example, you have an ice cube, you dropped it on the floor, and someone may have forgot about it. What do you think will happen to that ice cube? Okay, so you look at one of those 4 pictures and you will bubble the correct answer in.